the bait of the day, the long discontinued bomber popper. This is kind of a 1-2 punch type of popper. We're going to talk about these. You ready to run and gun? It's time for blast off. Let's go. Hey guys, Todd here with you. Welcome back to Bassin 101. Loud little dude. The bomber poppers. Not really sure when they quit making these things. It was probably around, I'd say around the mid 80s, definitely around the 70s, because these used to come in the boxes. And it's a very unique type of popper. They make two sizes that I'm aware of that I can remember. The small size, about 2.5 inch, and about a 3.25 inch. You know, notice the lips are a little different on these things. What's cool about these baits is they have a different sound. So they actually lay just about flat on the surface. They don't have any kind of tip down, nothing like that. So they have a different sound. But what's cool about this bottom lip is it works like a crankbait. You can slow crank these things and they'll run anywhere from 6 inches to a foot deep. And then stop them, they'll come right back up and you can pop them and twitch them. What's really cool about these, you can throw them around cover, pop them and twitch them, and then once you clear the cover, go ahead and start cranking it back, and every once in a while twitch it like you would a jerk bait. It has a completely different action to it, especially when the water pressure builds up. But both of these will do that. They'll both crank down because they have that special type lip, as you can see, and it works just like a crankbait bill. Don't know if Bomber intentionally did that, but you can definitely see there's a kick down to the lip. Just that part of the lip actually comes down in the body mold. I think that's really cool. So with these, I definitely use a hackle, but I don't use a very thick hackle. I keep it very thin because I want these baits to have as much action as they can have. If I was to put a thicker hackle, they wouldn't work like a crankbait as good. It would kind of slow them down, make them sluggish. You don't want that. So to me, this is a great 1-2 knockout kind of punch for a popper, because you can pop this around cover. Once you clear it, crank it back. On the next cast, instead of popping it, start cranking it back and stop it. Crank it again, stop it. Maybe pop it once in a while. That's what's cool about these baits. And they're both pretty loud. But what I like about them too is that, especially the smaller one, the hook is set a little bit further back in the body. They will tend to bind sometimes, but the hackle kind of keeps that from happening. And I also put split rings on these. These didn't come with split rings. So I put performance hooks on here. This has got size 4s. Under STs on here. This has got old size 6 eagle claw feather lights. And I do put a split ring on the front. They actually came with a snap out of the package. But I put a split ring on the front because, again, they're a crankbait. So you can also crank them in. And I'm not worried about tying directly to this, because it's going to hamper the action of it. I've already tried it, and it definitely hampers the action. So the split ring is definitely the way to go. But you throw these in the exact same places that you would any other bait. But I think these would do a lot better in shallower water, because you can use it like a crankbait. So not necessarily something I would use for deep water, but if I was fishing along bluffs or channel banks or something like that, I would try to keep it as close to the bank as I could. But other than that, I kind of consider this more of a shallow water type popper. But these are great. You can find them on eBay. Some are a little pricey, but they're really a good, like I said, 1-2 punch, a popper or a crankbait. You can use them one of the two. And I was very fascinated when I found this out. I was kind of like, man, I never even knew that about these things. Saw them for a long time in tackle stores, just never bought any of them because I was a Rebel Pop Art guy. Now I regret not buying the ones I saw back in the day. But there we go. The Bomber Poppers. Discontinued, but still around, and still just catches as much fish today as it did when they first come out. So until next time, may the Father bless you and keep you in Yeshua's name, and as always, fish on.